This was me 3 years ago. I weighed 140 pounds and I was the unhealthiest I had ever been. And this is me now. I weigh 190 pounds and I'm in the best shape of my life. So how did I get here? This won't be the typical gym bro fitness video. I'll begin with my own story, but my main focus will be on the psychology of getting and staying in shape no matter your goals. I'll discuss how you can build a habit and maintain consistency over time and achieve results just as I did. I'll wrap up by giving some specific tips on lifting and nutritional advice. So let's get into it. I graduated high school in 2020, which was the year that coronavirus hit. I was running distance track at the time and putting in a ton of miles every week. But immediately after COVID hit, I basically stopped exercising for a year from March of 2020 all the way until December of 2020. All of our track meets were canceled, so I didn't really have a reason to stay in shape. I had only ever exercised for sports. And at this point, I also started vaping heavily. I was also drinking a lot socially. My nicotine addiction was especially bad. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was detrimental to my health. So my freshman year, I weighed 140 pounds. Not that being skinny is bad, but I was quite unhealthy. I was also the lowest I had ever been, both mentally and physically. I started going to the gym with some friends towards the end of my freshman year, but I was never particularly consistent. The gym was still a scary and foreign place to me. I just had a tough time getting myself to go without my friends. However, I gradually got healthier. Slowly, I started gaining some muscle mass. I was finally exercising and getting more dopamine from that, and slowly also reducing the amount of dopamine that I got from smoking, vaping, and drinking. But I was still vaping a lot and was by no means the picture of health. That was until my sophomore year. I finally started getting more consistent that year. I realized how good I felt exercising, and I finally also started eating healthier. I was so consistent in the gym that I wouldn't miss a workout for months, and I was lifting 6 days a week. I started to see some significant progress, and I became addicted. I also lived with 3 guys that were incredibly consistent in their workout routines and who prioritized living healthy lives. These were the same friends that brought me to the gym in the first place. Being around this energy was super motivational to me, and going to the gym soon became one of my favorite parts of the day. After my first semester of that year, I finally quit vaping for good, and I haven't hit a vape since. That was when I really started seeing significant gains, and when people started to notice and compliment my progress. Vaping makes it harder to regulate your dopamine system because you're constantly flooding it with dopamine a few times an hour every time you hit that vape. It also significantly reduces your appetite. I'd always been a skinny cross-country kid with a really strong metabolism, so it was imperative for me to eat more to start gaining weight. I went to the gym 6 times a week for the rest of the year and that summer while eating as much as I possibly could. Then I just stayed consistent. Seeing the gains and the results of my efforts was so intoxicating. I hit 225 on the bench press, and it just pushed me to go even harder. I stayed consistent for the next year and a half. At the beginning of this year, I did a fitness challenge similar to the 75 hard for the month of January that I coined the 30 tough. I got up to 190 pounds and benched 255 on the bench press. And here I am now. I transformed from a 140-pound, nicotine-addicted freshman in college into a guy weighing 190 pounds with a pretty legit physique and solid cardiovascular endurance. My new priority is what I'm calling functional fitness. Mainly, I'm trying to get some cardiovascular endurance back, and I'm not as focused on building muscle, but rather just maintaining muscle mass. I only lift 2 to 3 times a week, but I can honestly say that I've never felt this good in my entire life. I just have so much energy. I've also significantly reduced my alcohol consumption, and I've dropped everything else. I'm just prioritizing my health now because I realized how good I feel and how much happier I am when I am healthy. Like I said, this isn't the typical gym bro video. Healthy is going to look different on everyone. I firmly believe that it's a combination between cardiovascular fitness, strength, and flexibility, but as long as you're pushing your body in some way, you can't go wrong. Now I'll move into the psychology of getting in shape. The number one determinant of your success will be consistency. That means consistency in your workouts, consistency in your diet, consistency in saying no to excessive drinking and saying no to vaping or smoking or unhealthy eating options. The main hurdle to overcome is that you won't see results for a while. If you could immediately see the results of the effort that you're putting in, everyone would be fit. But it doesn't work like that. It took me 3 months before I started seeing significant improvements in my muscle mass, and 6 months before others started to point it out and compliment me. It's so helpful to hear from other people and to see those external results, but what do you do until then? How do you get to that point? Ultimately, you need to get better at delayed gratification. That means not choosing the small but immediate reward, but instead holding out for the larger, more significant reward. And the first step of this is to get better at saying no to immediate dopamine. How do you expect yourself to take an hour to go work out when you can't take 10 minutes in the morning without opening your phone and getting a crazy rush of dopamine? To slowly transition into the person that you want to be and to the physique that you want to have, you'll have to wean off of your short-term dopamine vices. That's why I spent so much time talking about vaping. My gains in the gym were only significant when I started to wean off of and finally quit vaping for good. Vaping makes it significantly harder to do things that suck in the moment but are good for you in the long term. Your motivation system gets all messed up. You can replace the word vaping with any other short-term dopamine vice that you may have. The same thing goes for your phone. The more you use social media, the more your motivation system in your brain will be hijacked. You need to start saying no to it. My recommendation would be to delete all social media apps if you can. And if you can't, start with one, delete one, and you'll slowly gain that control back. I struggle with this a lot still to this day, partially because I'm trying to launch a career on social media. So I've been using Instagram to message you guys. And one thing that I found is helpful is if you just keep Instagram on your laptop, you don't spend as much time passively scrolling and consuming content because it's just not as good on the laptop. If you have to use social media to keep up with friends or whatever, maybe try using it on the desktop. You might not use it quite as much. I hate the argument that you don't have enough time to work out. I think it's BS. Borrow an hour of your time a day from social media or from playing video games and use that time to work out. If you've been making the time commitment argument, reevaluate that argument by looking at your daily screen time. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you'll start to feel really good after a workout. This dopamine reward is way different than all of those short-term dopamine vices, such as social media. You'll become addicted. You'll feel so powerful exercising, but it will take time. You'll have to slowly reset yourself and work on fixing your dopamine system and improving your motivation. Every day that you prioritize your fitness, you essentially cast a vote for the type of person that you want to be. And the accumulation of all of those days going to the gym will slowly add up. And that feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction with your external results will also add up. You'll want to prioritize long-term dopamine more, and you'll enjoy that satisfaction so much more. It'll never be easy, but it will get easier. I firmly believe that if you're actually consistent for 6 months, nothing can stop you. Your brain will just be completely different. And I think this will spill over into many areas of your life. Getting a big paper done will be significantly easier because you're used to saying no to quick dopamine fixes, and you'll be better equipped to just put your head down and grind. It'll be easier to invest in relationships with your family and friends. You'll be able to focus and invest more into your mental and emotional health. You can take on life's challenges better and feel confident in your own skin. You can also play basketball for hours without getting tired. Exercise and healthy eating is the best medicine. Finally, maintaining consistency will become easier. Your routine will be ingrained. Instead of being uncomfortable in going to the gym, you'll see the gym as a place of comfort. Now, I'll move into some more practical tips. As I've mentioned previously, those first few weeks or months are gonna be the worst. You're gonna be so sore and you won't have any results, so your efforts are gonna seem futile. It sucks. You're not gonna enjoy it that much. That's why I firmly believe that when you start going to the gym, you should exercise in whatever way is the most fun for you and whatever causes you the least resistance to go and do it. For some people, that may be running. For me, it's playing basketball and cycling. If you don't think you like anything, go and try all sorts of stuff. Go swim, go rock climb, go play pickleball. There is something that you will enjoy. Slowly, you'll start to get healthier and you'll start to feel those positive effects of exercise. Then it will become easier to try stuff that you don't like as much. You'll slowly start shifting your identity to being someone that exercises and someone that goes to the gym. Once you fully embrace this newfound identity, you'll really start improving. I wanted to discuss different types of exercise because I think it's important to address that we all have different fitness goals. Ultimately, we should strive to become better versions of ourselves and overall healthier people. But if you're specifically looking to gain muscle mass and size, this next portion is for you. Once you feel consistent enough in your exercise that you start to identify with being an athlete and being someone who works out, you could start weightlifting. You can watch other videos to go more in depth on this, but mainly you'll want to train each major muscle group twice a week. I like to couple my chest and tricep muscles, my back and bicep muscles, and my leg and shoulder muscles. And I would do this Monday through Saturday. Like most people though, I kind of skipped leg day a lot. This brings me to one of my most important points. You need to shake off missing a day in the gym. Everybody misses days, but you shouldn't allow yourself to miss multiple days in a row. You need to remind yourself who's boss. Seneca says we treat the body rigidly so that it will not be disobedient to the mind. So treat it rigidly. Don't let multiple days go by without working out. Give yourself some grace, but go get back after it. The most important aspect of your ability to gain muscle is your nutrition. I won't go too in depth here. Again, there's other guys on YouTube that know this stuff better than I do, but my main philosophy is that you should eat as much protein as possible. The common sentiment is that you should have a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So since I weigh 190 pounds, I should in theory be eating 190 grams of protein per day. I don't personally track how much protein I eat. I think it's too difficult and kind of a waste of time. So my philosophy is that you should eat as much good food as you can in order to gain muscle. So that means as much protein and as many fruits and vegetables as you can possibly eat. I meal prepped when I was at school sometimes. I do think that it can be helpful in removing the barrier of having to cook every day, but unless you're loaded, you're gonna have to learn how to cook to get high quality food. You should try to keep your carbs lower because they're gonna fill you up really fast. That is, unless you're adding in a lot of cardio, then your body needs it. I recently started cycling 100 plus miles a week, and upping that carb to protein ratio has been imperative. You need carbs to fuel your workouts, but if you're just weightlifting, you won't need that many carbs, and you should just focus on eating as much protein as possible. To shift from your old diet to the new one, again, you'll need to shift your mindset and dopamine reward system. Chicken and broccoli does not taste as good as a donut, but slowly over time, you'll start seeing significant differences as you continue to choose the healthier option. I know this sounds crazy, but I've changed my relationship with food and dopamine so much that I prefer fruit to sweets like cake and brownies. My brain interprets these options differently because I understand how I'll feel immediately after eating both, and I also understand the long-term effects of eating fruit daily versus stuffing myself with cake. My final tip is to prioritize your health over simply trying to get bigger. I've personally been reducing my lifting because I'm at the point where adding additional muscle doesn't make much functional sense. As I said before, my new goal is to be functionally fit. Right now, that means doing a ton of cycling and incorporating more yoga and cardio into my weekly routine. I really like challenging myself, and I enjoy having the flexibility in these different exercise options. Also, having good cardiovascular fitness is so underrated. You'll feel so good after running or biking. So workout, yes. Get big, yeah. It gives you so much confidence. You should lean into your masculinity, but don't take it too far. Your ultimate goal should be fitness and optimizing your health, not just getting as big as possible. No, I probably won't be able to break my bench press PR, but man, I feel so good. Ultimately, getting and staying fit comes down to choosing the option that is more difficult at the time, but the option that will make you a healthier and better version of yourself. Making those difficult choices will accumulate over time. And one day you'll look back at yourself from 3 years ago and think, wow, I am such a healthier person. I am such a happier person. And I feel so much better than that older version of myself. I really hope that this video helps simplify it for you. You can do it too. It really comes down to making a bunch of small decisions over time, and the results will come. If you have any questions for me, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to reply quickly. Also, if you made it this far, drop a like and please consider subscribing. But seriously, go do something now. Go take a hike. Go to the gym. Go eat an apple. Future you will thank you. Peace.